So,
Umineko music.
yes, it continues.
Dance of the Moon Rabbits. Fucking
All
cat
of
was
you.
Umineko. Anyway.
All of you started this. Moving back from your first delve into the mines of Radiant Hills. And after being accosted by the barmaid, revealed to be a fence, Wandering Wind returns once more to deliver one final test. And you were able to overcome it, thanks to your tactical abilities and your quick wit, succeeding in impressing even the entity within the blade which he carries. And soon, she revealed herself. I will answer that question later.
No, because I have two contradicting, like, spellings of her name, so...
Let me actually check what you
I don't
have
know
in
if
your
it's
notes.
is it an E or an A?
Oh, her spelling. I did pronunciation.
Not like this.
Yeah, pronunciation is Sinaphon, but it's
There you
written
go.
with an E, right?
You'll see.
You'll see. And the entity stepped outside of the halberd, revealing herself to be the goddess of lightning, and the younger sister of the god that you are so familiar with, Bahsk. It is in this moment, as Jasmine has placed a hand on the shivering, trembling Teresa's shoulder, and Teresa, after a moment looking visibly calmer, straightening her posture, her gaze growing a bit more focused, stowing her weapons, whilst the goddess Sinaphon stands before all of you expecting your questions. What do you do?
Codex is... Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I actually didn't have like any questions prepared. I hope the mages have the questions ready.
What is the
Meanwhile-
meaning of
I think Murgh's just kind of BSOD mentally right now. He was prepared for a lot of things when he got out of bed this morning, but a goddess coming out of a halberd was not on the list.
Yep. I don't think that was on anyone's list.
Indeed.
So Wandering Wind just sort of leans up against the boxes and just casually watches.
Hello.
So last time she what did she say last time? Did she say like we could ask her any question or something?
The last thing that you
Yes.
said, sorry, I should have said that in the recap. I am Sinaphon, also known as the Skybreaker, goddess of the 12th seat of the Pantheon of the Sea. I'm certain you have many questions. What is it you wish to know? This is what she said.
Yeah, I'm working on what I'm working on. This, I'm typing this out right now.
Without looking at you, she nods in your direction. Her gaze is currently mostly fixed in the direction of Bahsk.
Murgh doesn't really know what to do, so he just nervously drops down on one knee, because that seems like a vaguely appropriate thing to do in the company of a god.
Funny, because Bahsk does the exact same thing.
Well,
The younger sister of Dorjorano. Goddess Lady Sinaphon. I practiced for like a week and I still can't do it. Lady Sinaphon. It is an
honor, I am certain.
to say the least.
Wandering Wind
Rise.
just kind of looks you over, a lot of you.
You may
Free to
rise.
seat. Make yourself comfortable.
Yes.
And he gestures over to the bar.
talking to a goddess at a bar.
It's
You
a,
just see Codex.
No, you must stand.
Codex is just scribbling stuff furiously in his documentation journal. You'll see the rest of this when I get it finished typed out.
I'm just imagining him like writing an entire paragraph and like we just like glance at him and like, is he okay?
Vigorously, Kenku scribbling down.
We will do this.
Yeah.
We will do this, as you mortals would. Feel free to take a seat.
Murgh's been waiting for this moment all evening.
that is.
Don't mind if I do.
After
Murgh
like
just barely bounds over to the bar.
after a bit of like processing, Morzavur is will like Morzavur will accept the invitation, and as he passes by her, bow down a bit, like. Okay.
Meanwhile,
Finally.
you see Jasmine will sort of half drag a very somewhat frozen Staritza.
She looks to be doing a lot better than the past minute ago, but still a bit shaken.
Boss just
I just rather can I like just move?
Passes.
Oh.
One of you can
What-
speak.
So
on.
is Codex going to move?
He's too busy furiously scribbling.
tell me all about this.
Finally, can finish getting drunk.
Cinephone just instantly casts freaking Presty. You are not drunk anymore. It's like, fuck!
Just Murgh's like, no!
She's like, you need no to thank me. I removed your drunken.
I removed the alcohol poisoning for you. Why?
Yep.
So as you approach, as Codex approaches with the written text. Let's see.
Yep.
Da-da-da. First question was.
I meant to put the accent thing, but I didn't remember how to do that on laptop.
She turns towards you, Codex. I assume you speak of the blight that had transpired just before the previous season of harvest. I cannot give you much great detail. However, what I can say is that the blight was not a natural phenomenon. The answer you seek lies within the lilies of the valley north of this city. However, it is unwise to investigate the valley while the flower is in bloom.
Write this shit down, write this shit down.
Would I know anything about such flowers?
You would know.
Being a native, you would know exactly what she's speaking of, which is the weeping lilies, whose poison is fatal. And they bloom during the spring, so traveling through the valley in the spring is almost certain death. Versus in the summertime, if you stray from the path, it's almost certain death, but you can take the path.
It
It
sprays
is only
up
during
around.
the fall and winter that you can realistically enter the valley.
Huh.
As for your second question, it is not mere creatures that make the forest such a dangerous mystery, but the very forest itself. Should you dare enter, close your heart, and do not be taken in by curiosity or opportunity. It is but a lure to draw you close. That is all I can say on this matter. And not the first information. A curious question, this third. There are unknowns all around you, even in this very room. And she gestures towards each of you and in the air that you breathe. However, it will be many pages still before mortals unlock the secrets of those unknowns. Now, you. She turns towards Bahsk. I believe you had something to ask of me.
A plethora. In actuality, milady.
Then begin.
You, milady, as well as Wandering Wind. You both had a relation to your older sister, I believe, Doriorano.
Yes, that is correct.
A very goddess that us from the valley revere, and all those related. However, as a dire blight called you, as well as Wandering Wind, to this realm, what may that be?
To explain that, she brings her fingers to her cheek. We'll have to start from the beginning. Your question will have an answer soon.
Bahsk acknowledges it, but does not like dare even attempt to like vocally interrupt her. And wait till she's finished.
You
She
ask
finishes
what...
and is looking at you expecting.
Then,
Were you not?
sorry, I didn't catch that. What?
Was there nothing else?
Oh, okay. Then, those answers shall be given to individuals involved soon. I take it.
She nods.
As for
Very slowly.
don't nod slowly.
She nods very slowly.
Okay. Well, as far as deities and creatures go, would you have any knowledge of an entity of draconic origin called Longeviadron?
As soon as you speak that name, she immediately scoffs. And she brings a hand to the side of her face. A malevolent being spawned by hatred and malice. Merely hearing the name leaves a bad taste in the mouth.
What is this creature?
She floats down just a little bit.
Just told you.
She floats down just a little bit. The stories you know of this being are full of untruths, lies propagated by those who carry its mark of malevolence in order to help enact its revenge. The true events of this story are that despite the great battle they engaged with one another, both entities were too powerful to outright slay the other. For you see, they have grown so mighty in their lives that they began to amass worshippers, a scarce few, but worshippers nonetheless. It was through that faith that they inevitably became exalted ones. Achieving this feat of exaltation amongst mortal peers is the primal requirement to become a candidate for the divine spark, if you will, the essence needed for a mortal to begin the path to ascension. So it did not take long before higher beings began to take notice of these two. Believe it or not, dragons becoming exalted ones is very rare, for mortal worship of dragons is commonplace, and seen as a mundane feat to higher beings. The event of two reaching this state simultaneously, however, was most unprecedented. So, a wager was then made to pit the two against one another to see which of the two were truly worthy. The fools. She looks a bit to the side. 2 seats of the Sea Pantheon, whose names I cannot mention, had very recently acquired divine sparks to bestow. So they gave the dragons each the divine spark as they began to do battle, and in that moment 2 quasi-deities were born. Upon realizing that neither could kill the other, the dragons began thinking of other ways to win. Eventually, the metallic one was able to bind the spirit of the chromatic one to the battlefield upon which they fought, but not before the chromatic was able to taint the other with his essence. This much, I am certain you know. In the end, both dragons were ultimately slayed by one another. And this much remains truth. However,
Yes.
there is more to this tale.
Please. Will you not enlighten us?
This was a most embarrassing outcome for not only these 2 higher beings, but the Sea Pantheon as a whole. She takes a breath. For these fools had wasted not 1, but 2 divine sparks in their silly wager. You can understand, of course, how this reflects.
It would have besmirched the name of the Sea Pantheon, would it not? To have 2 quasi-deities. Let me try that again.
Wandering Wind then looks
Yeah.
to you. The divine spark is not easy for a deity to come upon, so they are very valuable and chosen very carefully on when they are used. To say that this was wasteful was putting it lightly.
Definitely.
Furthermore,
How much of this would I know?
Roll religion.
yeah. Furthermore, in an effort to essentially sweep this developing scandal under the rug, the 2 seats silenced the metallic spirit and bound it in the same location as the chromatic, before building what is now the tomb their spirits reside in. However, unlike the unbound spirit of the metallic, the chromatic spirit was unaware of the wager that it had unwittingly partaken in. It believed the metallic was the one behind the deed, having willingly bound itself alongside the chromatic to forever spite him in silence. Powerless to take any action against the metallic, now bound alongside him, it wished and wished and wished for its revenge.
Codex, you have no idea what a divine spark is.
Yeah, I gathered as much from the 2.
Those rolls.
Womp
Those rolls.
Does Bahsk need to roll for any of this?
womp. You can roll if you like
Yeah.
to
for like
find
the
out
divine
as
spark.
far as what the divine spark is.
Yeah,
I guess-
that's what.
I guess I can ask.
Morzavur can as well, but I don't think Murgh would know.
Yeah,
I do
but
not like this.
but you know, in case it somehow happens, it's religion, right?
Yes, religion.
Yes.
So
Using
we'll
a
just wait
point of
moment while you do
inspiration.
your roll.
For
I
this.
see.
Hammered roll religion just to
Sure,
fit in.
just go ahead. Let's see what happens.
Okay,
Nice.
yeah, no.
Murgh is
Morzavur, you
out of his
also
depth
have
right
never
now,
heard of the divine spark.
but he might as well just see if maybe he heard something about this at some
Bahsk,
point.
You think you might have heard some mention of some sort of essence involving the path of ascension, but you're not sure if that's just a rumor or if it's true.
Well, considering that a literal fucking deity mentioned it.
No, I mean that in regards to what they said it was. Sorry, I misphrased that.
Okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure that you can trust the
surprisingly, is like, oh, you remember hearing about that one day. You know, you just happened to steal some books, and you were bored while waiting for the fence to come back after looking them over. One you just happened to look into, and you're like, huh, this is about some deity stuff. And
Cool.
you just happen to remember reading, like, oh, that's really interesting. Divine spark is something that's needed for mortals to ascend to godhood. And you briefly wondered, how might you come across the divine spark?
Sure.
Get me some of that.
Good job.
Murgh.
Before just shrugging and closing the book.
I'm just imagining like all the scholars of the team be like, "What the heck is a divine spark?" And there's like the one uneducated rogue who's like, "I don't know what it is."
I know that.
Oh, hey, I read about this once.
Good job.
And you just see like all the scholars like turn towards him like, "What?"
It's like,
It was in one of those little brochure things. Can't really
like-
remember where.
It's like
are you,
it's
are
like
you
in
saying
this.
this? Are you saying this like in character?
Apparently. I'm
Like-
sorry.
No, like this.
Wandering Wind looks at you with the most deadpan expression.
It's like, and then you kind of feel like a couple darts from your right side as well, as you see a leaning, very curious and very thin dragonborn leaning past Morzavur,
Wandering Wind.
looking at you.
Wandering Wind crosses his arms and looks to Bahsk and Codex with visible disappointment.
Murgh just made everyone look stupid in comparison.
Xenophon side-eyes you.
After
Side-eyes.
a moment, he just shrugged.
Xenophon side-eyes you and goes, I believe I have much to catch up with Pantheon Daily.
With what?
Pantheon
Pantheon.
Daily.
Do I know what the hell a Pantheon Daily
Roll
is?
insight. Roll insight.
Sounds
Oh,
like
wait,
some
a
kind of-
Pantheon Daily?
Roll
Wait,
insight.
is it some kind of like it's some kind of
Magazine.
Yeah, it's like a magazine.
I kind of want the nat 1 right about now.
It's my fucking high roll.
Codex?
Thank you.
I kind of get the feeling that she might be making fun of you guys.
Subscription on that one was too high.
Literally.
Indeed. You might suspect that the venerable Lady Xenophon of the Sea Pantheon might have just cracked a joke at Solomon's expense.
And a very bad one at that.
She continues.
Wait, meanwhile, Murgh is like, huh, I wonder if that is a subscription I can find.
Really,
Watch this fucking
When
asshole
you
just
plumb
walk
the
into a...
insult so hard, you're like, oh, cool, that must be true.
Cool.
Can we just talk about how like Murgh being the only one who knows what a divine spark is? Like in one of the like cartoons, where like the dumb one of the group somehow knows something the
Well,
others
he
don't.
read a book about it, so
You can't remember
this-
where.
this
He did read about it.
Daily is real.
She starts
Maybe that's where I
to.
read it. Maybe that's where I read it. Can't really remember.
I'm
Yeah,
just
serious.
annoyed at. I'm just annoyed at Avray here.
She moves a
He
bit
said-
closer to
He
you.
said that in I said that in character.
She moves a bit closer to you,
Maybe
Bahsk.
that's where I read it.
She moves a little bit closer to you, Bahsk, floating over to you.
Attention immediately snaps back from the banter.
Over time, that spiteful malevolence grew to become power. Power that eventually overwhelmed the metallic spirit and consumed it. Even this was not enough to sate the chromatic's thirst for vengeance. It continued to wish to enact its wrath, so the power of its malevolence only continued to grow. Eventually, its entire being began to change. For you see, once a being obtains a certain level of power, and once the strength of its will has grown to match it, a fervent wish becomes potential, and potential can become reality. It is through the act of granting their own fervent wish that one becomes a Jinn. Not a true Jinn, but a Jinn nonetheless.
Then the creature that the valley worships is not a dragon, but a Jinn.
In a sense, yes.
Does Bahsk know what a Jinn is, besides like the name?
I would think that given your previous roles, you would be very familiar with that. A Jinn is
Yeah.
typically an elemental spirit that has ascended to the point of becoming something of a powerful creature, spiritual creature.
Somewhat akin to a god, but not exactly. It's a bit
Yes.
different.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am assuming I would know about this sort of thing too.
Yeah, Codex and Bahsk would immediately know that. You'd also know that they're often sometimes referred to also as genies.
Mother.
A Jinn
Yeah.
born from a dragon. Or rather, a pair of dragons, conjoined. Such was the fate of the chromatic. Through granting itself its very own malevolent wish, the draconic Jinn, Yongre of Gijadron, was born. With its newfound power, it began to curse all who approached it, bending their wills to propagate word of its curses as blessings. This malevolent spirit was delighted that it now had the power to enact its revenge on the metallic dragon who slew it, by corrupting all who reside in the valley it watched over. And at this, she looks at you rather intently. The condition that you have believed to be unique to your family is not so. There are many in your homeland of similar belief that their own blood will betray them should they refuse to partake in this malevolent genie's wicked scheme. And this is of course complete falsehood, for it is not their blood that seals their breaths. This is all that I can mention.
Then what is it then? Please, Lady Xenophon.
I'm afraid I have said all that I might.
Bahsk slowly lowered his gaze and stands up.
Is there none that can be done to help rid the afflicted from this Jinn's curse?
Roll persuasion with advantage.
Okay. That is a flat D20.
Ooh.
All right.
I should have played a bard. My persuasion rolls are amazing.
Everything's backwards.
You
Yeah,
should have
just-
also used your fucking presence thing to make it double advantage.
I can't. I don't have access to it right now.
There may be something that can be done. However,
Somehow Bahsk
Do-do-do.
learned to be very persuasive.
you will learn soon why I say what I say.
Bahsk gives an immediate bow.
Thank you.
Wandering Wind looks over to you. There's a reason why she cannot say one. She will explain soon. But any other questions? He says, looking over the other.
My lady, you might know a thing or two about talking weapons, perhaps.
A curious question.
Talking what?
Wait, is this a fucking...
Oh no.
You wouldn't happen to know anything about this bow, would you? Says Murgh, showing Xenophon his really cool bow, and he looks desperate. Yeah, you can see the panic in his eyes. He needs to know. He just wants anyone to help him with this fucking bow.
To explain.
Wandering Wind looks at you with a very curious expression. It almost just reeks of, what the hell are you talking about?
She begins to floating towards you. Her gaze moving over you and the weapon that you are holding out before stopping. Most curious. I will explain. However, I must ask. Are there any further questions from any one of you?
I saw Mother would probably be like making for it and be like, I don't have any grand question that needs a desperate answer, but if I may ask, how is my family?
Cast's crying on 17th level.
You see her smile. You see her smile. A very curious question for you to ask. You will have your answer shortly, for I believe it is time that you are to learn. As she moves back over here.
Mother is very perplexed. There are like many potential interpretations that run through his head right now.
There is yet more that needs to be known before I can proceed with all of your questions. First, you must understand who we are and why we are here.
Oh,
This will relate, in particular, to you, Unwinged One. We
Wait, who is the unwinged one? Wait.
Which one of us?
So we have
She
three
turns-
dragonborns,
she
a
turns
kenku.
towards the Kenku in the party, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. I was like session 6, by the way, having fucking Lord Arms of
Oh, we
like.
did. Hold on. I missed one question, so before... I missed one question. It's... I
Finish
think...
one.
Did I? Did I? Yeah. No, I didn't. I didn't, bud. I did. I answered that previously.
Yeah, Codex.
No,
Codex
you
roll.
didn't. You only answered the first part, not the second. The line below it is attached to it.
Right. She points towards Jasmine as she says that.
I think Yami's not here
As
at the moment.
for
He said he had a
unknowns,
call.
as
Hold
for...
on.
Yes?
This is Yami's question, so we'll wait a moment for him. You say where
Okay.
he was
Did he
going?
go? Oh, he went. Okay.
I just feel I could potentially ask you about like Morzavur's dragon
Anyway,
turn.
we will take a short break. Be back here in, I don't know, 5 minutes.
Depending
Okay.
on how long it takes.
Night night.
Alrighty.
And then it just came to mind that I'm wondering if like Morzavur would even ask about like his dragon parent, like his mother.
I'm back. What I miss?
Welcome back. Cool. Convenient.
We just
About to finish your question in regards to unknowns because Emmy missed the part below it.
Yeah. Sorry about that. He's a frog. Frog.
I believe once he's back, we'll be good to continue.
ah.
So we wanted to wait
I
for
just-
you to do that.
I just dipped out. I'm still here. I just turned my mic off.
Okay, fair enough.
Alright, well,
Everyone
in
here?
that case,
Let's continue.
we shall continue.
Okay.
You asked of unknowns.
Codex nods, turning back to that page in the notebook, ready to write the answer.
She points towards Jasmine. She is very close to finding one such unknown, as is that man we all worked with earlier. A curious woman in town is close to another, but her mortal coil limits her without further aid. The endeavors of the two noble families draw similarly near a grand discovery. This is but a few of the potential possibilities you may find nearby.
Had brought all that part down.
She turns her head with a bit of a smile. Besides, why would I rob myself of the fun of seeing what you all do by giving you all the clues? And then Jasmine just kind of holds out a hand. Wait. Hold on. Are you telling me the ruins I'm looking into are actually different from the one that Mr. Dependable Guy is looking into? That is correct. The two locations of which you seek are merely in close proximity. It is of little surprise that you had mistaken the two as one and the same. Huh. Well, I'll be damned. Jasmine brings her hands to her hips.
Mal?
It's the one I
Wait,
know
hold
of on his
what?
radar, at least.
Wait, hold on. What about the ruins? Wait.
Jasmine asked, based off of what she had said, she's like, wait, are you telling me that the runes that I'm looking to are actually different than the ones Mr. Dependable are looking to? To which she said, yes, that is correct. The two
Yeah.
locations which you seek are merely in close proximity to one another, and it is a little surprised that you had mistaken the two for one and the same.
Okay. Are we aware of which ruins she's referring to?
No.
Okay. Yeah, no, I thought it was like ruins that we have been to and maybe another type of ruin, so I wasn't
Got no
aware.
idea. You have
Well,
no
you do
idea.
know it's not the ones you just went to.
Okay.
Right, so...
You also never spoke of it, so...
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'll be damned.
And-
It's the one I know of
Sorry,
as
go
the
on.
radar, at least. That I cannot say. Jasmine rolls her eyes. Yeah, I figured you'd say that. Had to try. Jasmine turns to you, Salmon. Of course, said as much before.
Murgh doesn't have much to say. He's just, Oh,
See,
where's the
Wandering
music?
Wind looks over you guys. Oh yeah, I gotta fix that.
What you gonna fix?
The music went bye-bye.
Yeah,
I
Lupe.
forgot. I gotta tell it to go away, then come
Lupe.
back.
Once they're done. As a son of being very, very subtle, what he knows.
But yeah, so Wandering Wind looks over at you all. These runes that he is looking into, there are many of them. They are about here, in Fortea, south in Vigilante, even up north. They are really very particular kind. However, I, much like Xenophon, cannot speak more on that matter.
Now.
I mentioned all
Yes.
of them, though.
How much have I heard of these ruins before?
You don't know exactly what ones he's speaking of because he hasn't said. As far as we made mention of them, a small smile just kind of creeps up his side of his face. Well, let's just say there's a reason.
One that will become apparent to you shortly. Perhaps. It would depend. Now, to continue. And as her hands move up a little bit, you see behind her shapes and colors begin to dance around the space. It is important that I clarify something. We, the gods, are the children of the two that came before us. I am certain you know the story of how the creation of this world came to be, yes?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna assume so.
Indeed.
Yep. Yeah, it's the thing that all of us present.
Yeah.
The very start
Yeah.
of the campaign.
Yep.
Yeah, yes.
And you see what looks to be two tall figures, far taller than even this goddess herself. You look up to the ceiling, following, and it's just gone. A space of color is all you see, with a pair of figures extending far beyond. And as she speaks, the images begin to move. The two ladies, one of sea and one of sand, unable to agree on the nature of this world and the creatures in it. The Lady of Sand seeking to create a world of ageless and endlessly reforming beauty. The Lady of Sea, a transient world of boundless potential. And they fought and fought until all they had already created was destroyed. They only grew to find understanding once both beings had destroyed the other. And from their essences, the world began anew. As Mother Sand became vapor and was carried into the skies to form the stars that eventually would fall and rejoin the ground, Mother Sea swallowed up the great plains and grand valleys to become the vast ocean and all within it. And from each of these elements, we, their children, were also formed. We who were born from the ocean call ourselves the children of the sea, whilst the others were born from the land itself. All of this transpired long before any of your ilk and their ancestors before them first walked out of their mothers' wombs. Long before the clock, long before even the first page of mortal history was penned. It was then, at the beginning, that the first page of the compendium was formed. She gestures, and the images disappear. And in place, a large clock forms around behind her. Time is a mortal concept, the borrowed terms from your calendar. For higher beings, yesterday is no different than tomorrow. A year ago, no different than a year from now. I suppose, to put it in a way that might make more sense to you all, is to think of what you call the passage of time as a living book. The moment we are now in is but a single line on a single page in a compendium of infinite pages. For you see, tomorrow, as you mortals know it, to be has already happened. As is next week, next year, and even the next decade. You're all here in this moment, have simply yet to get there. We higher beings, however, can both read forward and backward freely, line by line, page by page, even from chapter to chapter if we so wish. Though how far one can peer in either direction while their focus is centered on any one particular page is largely determined by the power of a given being. For mortals, however, they can only move forward in this book of time, and only at the pace of one line. Never able to go back or skip forward to the lines that are written. Some higher beings believe it to be a cruel fate, and take pity upon mortals. She closes her eyes. while others see mortals as insignificant in the grand scope of the cosmos, only relevant insofar as their existence within the worlds upon said deities reside. However, while a mortal's perceived reality is fixed and linear, it is also ever-changing. As some of you might have already surmised based on what I have just said, one of the reasons we have agreed not to directly intervene on the mortal plane is that actions taken to change events to past pages can have lasting changes to the preceding ones. If a change is grand enough, it could dramatically change the course of the book's pages forever forward. Such changes are difficult to manage, so great care is taken to see that they are avoided. I do believe your mortals have a term for this general concept, an alarmingly accurate theory, though its precise name is unknown to me.
Would we know what the term is? Unless it's literally theory of everything.
She continues.
Roll history.
Okay. She continues though. Something of note regarding one particular creature.
Bahsk. As soon as she says that, it just immediately snaps to you. She's talking about the butterfly effect.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I caught
Codex
that
too, immediately as well.
Like, actual me caught that immediately.
Yeah, because it is the butterfly. Yeah, I was thinking of like the general, like, you know, all of the data in the world. But then I was like, no, she's talking about changes. I was like, fuck, that is the
How she
butterfly.
does not know the name.
Uh-huh.
It is almost like a butterfly's wings. I
Yes.
believe the term that at least scholars looking into this type of general theory is called the butterfly effect.
You hear her. You hear a snap from that's strangely loud for what it's supposed to be. They realize that she snapped her fingers. Yes, that is it.
Did you just fucking conjure a lightning bolt by snapping her fingers?
Roll perception.
Oh god.
I'm just...
Butterflies are tiny.
Codex, it's very brief flash, but you most certainly saw a flash of light when she did that. You briefly are concerned that had thunder accompanied that, you all would be in a little bit of pain right now.
Negative HP,
You're grateful
Morzavur.
that she is not the god of thunder.
Murgh didn't even notice the flash because now he's thinking about butterflies.
Not one on perception. At least it's for something as meaningless as this.
With all that
Morzavur
said, yes.
had no idea anything happened. She snapped her fingers.
And it was a bit louder than than you would have expected it to be. But then again, she's 8 feet tall. Maybe she just has really strong fingers.
Bahsk, you thought you saw something, but you're not really sure. It was pretty quick.
Yeah.
With all that said,
Meanwhile, Codex
Yeah.
is kind of like looking a little nervous.
If a crow could sweat, that's what Codex would
And
look
that
like
would be
right now.
Codex right now.
Yeah.
there are still times when a deity wishes to influence or even avoid a particular event on this plane, and will choose a champion to carry it out in our stead. This method is our trump card, the greatest means to influence the lines on the page with our will, without drastically transforming the story. My wind here is one such champion, although not in direct service to me. She slowly turns her head to face him.
Long story short, I am the champion of Oriental, who has left her sister, Xenophon, in my care to better assist me on my quest.
Xenophon.
Is the quest?
Yeah.
Is the
Go on.
quest what was just mentioned that they wish to, that some wish to like influence the butterfly effect in a way that
Essentially, what she had mentioned is gods use champions as a method of being as most influential as they can whilst not enacting
Overdoing
too
it.
much change.
Right.
Basically, what she's saying is it's a more organic way of influencing things. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much.
instead of just directly overwriting things and causing a very sharp like change, you can just ask a mortal to do it, and things will play out in a way that it makes a
Yeah.
bit more sense and is unlikely to cause cataclysmic aftershocks.
Cinephon's,
Pretty much.
Cinephon's feet leave the ground a little bit as she begins to sit in the air. You see her lips purse. Only because you were stolen from me before I could claim you as my own champion. Though, I suppose I do have little reservations with this arrangement. And then,
Sisterly banter.
and then she returns to the ground, walks towards him, and touches his face. After leaning
Oh.
down.
Wandering Wind's expression just sinks into just utter deadpan. Sometimes I wonder if I've somehow angered my lady, and being tasked as her little sister's glorified babysitter is atonement for my transgressions.
Cinephone gasps and just stands up straight, throwing her hands to her hips, before pointing to Wandering Wind, glaring at him. Such insolence! Need I remind you that I am still a god and can smite you with a flick of my wrist at any time if I so wish?
Wandering looks at her flatly before lifting a finger. And need I remind you that you're merely the 12th and final secrecy pantheon, subservient to your sister's will, and to compare your might to that of hers would be akin to comparing a rowboat to a galley.
You all watch as crackling energy begins to form around her. As she,
Bahsk takes shifts his chair a little bit to right.
before abruptly dissipating, and Cinephon visibly deflates, looking away from all of you. It is not my fault that when mortals think of thunder and lightning, my sister is the first to come to mind.
Wanderwind scoffs and jumps up onto the bar that he's been leaning against and crosses his arm. It is precisely your fault that they do. Your scarce interaction and involvement with mortals of the ages is exactly why you have landed at the bottom of the Pantheon. But that is neither here nor there. We digress. Please continue, Lady Xenophon.
She takes a moment to collect herself.
Roll insight.
All of us?
I'm
All of
moving.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bahsk. Looking at Xenophon, you could see that she almost looks pitiful. The pout on her face, the chastising of Wandering Wind was just like a pummeling blow to her, because everything she said was probably true.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Wandering Wind is looking at her with just visible disappointment.
The fact that Wandering can just talk
Just as a god. Yeah.
yeah, talk to them on the
That's a
same
god.
level.
Codex, you pretty much gather the same. Meanwhile, Morzavur, you think that Tabaxi just strong-armed a god.
Yeah.
Murgh too was like, holy shit! Who is this Tabaxi? He just
Just
talked
talked
down a
down to
god.
He just talked down to a god. Cool.
After a moment, Cinephon collects herself, returns to drifting off the ground, and turns back to all of you.
I'm gonna have to watch this back. Like I already know. Like I've missed like 7,000 fucking things, and I know it.
Yes, in regards to champions, the appearance of one does not go unnoticed for long. Once one has emerged in a material plane, the changes brought about by its presence are eventually discovered by other deities of the pantheons. This more often than not stirs them to take action in the form of their own champions to carry out their will, be it to intervene on their part, exploit opportunities presented, or merely observe more closely out of curiosity. Whatever the case may be, the use of a champion is the most influential action a deity can take without breaching the terms of agreement amongst the pantheons. Naturally, we intend to remain scarce and bring no undue attention towards ourselves, and what you all had discovered made you far too great a risk towards that end to simply leave you be.
Then that only bears fruit to the implication that is there not something that you and your elder sister, Doriorano, wish to change rather promptly?
Wonder when huffs. I'd originally planned to simply make you all disappear and be done with it. But Lady Xenophon here suggested otherwise. It would appear that there is something about you all that has piqued her interest.
Bahsk visibly gulps at that.
However, for reasons she had just mentioned, she had yet to inform even myself what that is. So against my better judgment, I agreed to spare you all. Which brings us to where we are now.
Okay.
For some reason, I don't doubt that.
Oh my, Murgh.
Has no clue.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Murgh knows nothing.
Okay.
Codex, you can tell that he doesn't look too happy about the situation he's currently in. Bahsk, he's kind of hard to read, but he doesn't look very happy. Murgh, you see an angry cat.
You've seen that angry cat.
Meanwhile, Morzavur, he's kind of hard to read, but as you look at him, you can see that he clearly did not want to do this. And he begrudgingly spared you all. You think for a moment that you should be pretty damn grateful to Xenophon, otherwise you'd probably all be dead right now.
Yeah.
I apologize, my wind. The potential was impossible to ignore, and I had faith that you would make the right decision. As such, I am willing to take a risk in allowing them to remain on this plane, if not merely to see what becomes of it.
Wondering eyes her curiously, before a look of apparent realization slowly dawns on him, and his eyes widen.
She turns towards him and nods, before smiling. Curious, is it not? She turns towards the lot of you. Presently, the pantheons of land and sea have reached an impasse on a matter of great importance pertaining to the mortal realm. I was about to say royal realm.
Yeah, I was like,
The
what?
Royal
Are we
Realm.
like talking about the fucking queens and kings of this land now? Like, what the fuck?
And it is within my power and purview to bestow upon you all greater insight into this matter should you wish to know. However, the choice to know is yours to make, and yours alone, as by virtue of my parting, you subsequently become involved in this matter at our behest. And as such, it is not a decision to be made lightly or with haste. So we shall take our leave now and give you all time to consider this possibility.
Wondering when looks over here, just like, and crosses his arm.
Forgot something.
What is this? But yes, you have a line to say, by the way.
Trying to find it.
Yes, you do. You have a
You
line.
guys have a fucking script that you're writing.
We didn't write a lot. What are you talking about?
Yeah, only that like 80 something fucking pages of like. Yeah, no, not a lot. Yeah.
Let's be
They
generous
didn't
to
do
see
any
50.
pre-planning.
No, not at all.
This isn't a well-organized game or anything.
No.
Almost.
No, never.
Wandering Wind kind of looks to you. There's a reason she said these things to you.
Since meeting my wind. And she pauses for a second before approaching, wondering a little bit.
Wandering Wind gets up and kind of stretches.
I've come to learn that my view of mortals was both ignorant and shallow, and each mortal day I spend with him here, I only realized more just how wrong I was. For my involvement with mortals had indeed been far too scarce for my own good, as the maintaining of one's godhood requires both worship and knowledge of one's true name. That was something I neglected to consider. Perhaps now it is high time I become more involved with the mortal realm. But while we must hide my wind's true nature, I need not mask my own actions with other mortal individuals. And she raises her hand into the air, as she herself follows with it.
You see Wandering Wind cross his arms and smile.
Her form begins to softly glow a radiant white. Come, mortals, stand before me.
Wandering looks over at y'all. You might want to do that.
Before he even says that Bahsk is already in the wolf.
Broke her wind.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Because what the passage has his made up?
Mine made up.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
Wait.
Gotcha. She
You
floats
have a
over.
maid, and
She
it's
floats over here until she's like 10 feet in the air.
There we go.
Alright, 1 sec.
Just a chance for all the information, all the possible knowledge that is connected to this is just too big of an opportunity to pass off.
And as this happens, she looks towards you, Bahsk, and beckons you. Her face
Beckons you forward.
is an expression of clear intrigue, before a visible sadness washes over it. Do you approach?
Yeah.
Dragon of boundless curiosity, whose fiery passion for understanding could not be suppressed, even with your strength stolen and your body plagued with fragility. It could not dissuade the burning fire within you from finding answers, nor would it defeat your drive to press on when none were found. No matter the dead end or trail gone cold, the mark of malevolence was powerless to stop you. For not even the ire of a goddess could stand in your way on your quest to save your siblings. You have worked so hard and have endured so much to make it this far. She reaches forward towards you and puts a hand on your shoulder. To think that the plight of a mere mortal could ever move me so. Allow me to finally right a wrong that has been so wickedly thrust upon you. You notice the colors of the room around you suddenly turn to shades of grey. And as you look around, everyone but you and the goddess before you immediately freeze in place. She takes her hand from your shoulder and offers her palm. Klakitan Herkron Davli Tuedo Frelfjörn. What is your desire? And before you can even speak, as you move to take her hand, you feel yourself draw closer. You've already moved up into the air to meet her. And as your hand reaches hers, you're met with a sensation so radiant, so divine, that you refuse to even dare consider sullying it with mortal words. You instinctively feel that to express the touch of a god requires a level of communication that mortals simply dare not tread. Before long, a soothing warmth begins to wash through you that is so welcoming and relaxing that you feel yourself even beginning to nod off. However, you quickly catch yourself, finding that you now stand on the basement floor once more. As the warmth fades, you find yourself taken aback at the sudden ease at which you now carry yourself. And for the first time in what feels like forever, there are no aches, no pains, no strain. You feel only a fire in your chest and a robust vigor that you once feared you had lost forever. Your base strength ability score increases by 6 as a renewed strength surges through you. And it is at this moment you realize that the curse that has caused you so much hardship has finally been lifted.
Holy shit.
Bahsk.
Damn. Boss just got buffed.
As his feet and claws touch the ground, he holds himself bipedal. In the instant, he just the mentioning of his name, Klaktan, essentially just remembers so much that he had experienced, and he doesn't even notice it, but he's crying, realizing that as it's still far from what his desire really is, this is something that does help.
Through your tears, you watch as her expression breaks into a gentle smile. This is the most that I can do for you. The rest is up to you. And as a breeze begins to blow around you, the colors of the world catch up with you when you find that it appears as if not a moment has passed since you first stood before the goddess. Everyone rolled perception. Except Bahsk.
Fuck you two out, eh?
Nope. Take your negative XP, bish.
Please be a low roll. I really want Murgh to just be clueless. Oh yeah!
Okay,
but
okay.
Is the perception roll about like what happened, or?
Alright, so Morzavur, you've been traveling with Bahsk for a while now, and you immediately notice something peculiar about Bahsk suddenly. Actually, you notice a few things now that you think about it. His usually loose-fitting clothing is definitely more filled in, and his posture appears to have suddenly gotten better. Way better. Speaking of better, was Bahsk always that buff? Pretty sure he wasn't just a moment ago.
Bahsk. Oh yeah, damn.
You kind of think about it for a moment, and you're like, what did she do?
Oh, hold
However, as you're thinking that,
on. Okay.
she then looks to you, Morzavur, expectantly.
Oh. So, I guess, I don't know. It's just kind of like for me to come or something.
Come forth, child.
So as the man Morzavur comes forward.
As you do, you see that she looks you over, and her expression shifts to something uncertain. And she brings a hand towards her face. Dragon of tireless wanderlust, whose thirst for adventure, story, and song could not be restrained. You carry potential, but you lack purpose. You fled from your life to seek it anew, and you are yet searching. Your fortune is curious still. Your future would have been prosperous, but might have turned stagnant in time. For you are not destined for glory or greatness. Scarce few are. However, there is still yet a possibility for you to forever leave your mark in the pages of history. A high honor that humbles even the most grand of bards. You hold within you this potential, and if that potential can be achieved and yet still farther grow, only time will tell what future greatness will come to stand upon the might of your giant shoulders. She makes a gesture, and Morzavur, you suddenly realize that the world around you appears up spontaneously frozen. Shades of grey cover your unmoving companions, and everything else around in the space around you. All that remains with the colors of life and the will to move freely is yourself and her. And from Wandering's bag, something flies out until it stops right before you. You recognize this readily. This ore is misunderstood. The power it contains can be harnessed, but this world has none who yet understand the means to properly extract its bounty. However, you mortals are so very close. If you so choose, you may enjoy a privilege not extended to many, the knowledge to do what has yet to be done. I can teach you the secret to smelting Ethereum. However, and she fixes you with a look. In exchange, you must vow to return to your place of origin and right the wrong you had left without ever looking back. I presume you know of what I speak.
As she says those words, Morzavur gonna look slightly away for a moment. Yeah, he obviously knows. He thinks about it before looking back at her with a look that probably means he has come to accept that it might be the best course of action. No, not entirely certain, but
Then what is your answer?
agree. Morzavur accepts.
Now, watch closely, mortal, and understand why none have yet to solve the ore's riddle. The answer lies not in the heat of fire, but another source none have yet thought to try. And she brings her hands to rest a few inches from either side of the suspended ore as lightning begins to form and crackle in her palms before surging through the ore. As you watch the spectacle for several moments, your eyes widen as you notice that energy seems to almost effortlessly, albeit slowly, begin to melt the ore. After a few minutes, the energy within her hand subsides, and a bowl of molten ethereum now floats before her. The goddess then takes a deep breath as the metal forms to the shape of an ingot before she gently blows on it. The metal quickly hardens before crystals of ice begin to form on it. With a wave of her hand, the frost vanishes as the ingot lowers to you.
Morzavur cannot just like he can just like take it in his hand, like both hands, kind of like.
As you begin to reach out for it, however, it stops just short of your reach. She lifts a finger, and a small book materializes alongside the metal in front of you. Share not this secret with anyone before you return to the smithy from which you were forged, not even with those who stand with you in this sanctum, for you knew all too well how easily the truth can be extracted from another through a slip of the tongue. It is with your family's help that the riddle of Ethereum will truly be solved. Present to them this ingot and book. Only then will the contents of its pages reveal that you speak the truth. And when the deed is done, and the final product you choose to forge laid bare for the world to see. She opens her arms as they slowly sink into your hand. Let it be known that the might of the strongest metal yet known to the mortal realm is unlocked by harnessing the unbridled power of the Skybreaker. And both items leap from your hands into your bag. And in that moment, color returns to the world once more.
My God.
You're not aware of it, unfortunately.
I know.
Then her gaze,
Yeah.
speaking of you, her gaze shifts towards you.
There's like 4 yous here who...
I just mentioned you, Salmon.
Okay. Okay.
She
Sorry about that.
floats No, I didn't mean to eat you, Morzavur.
Morzavur is now
She
Morzavur.
reaches over and eats Morzavur. Fuck it.
She floats past where you were, just as you start walking back, and gestures towards you.
Yes.
You just stand where you. Oh yeah, never mind. You move. Orcish man of great
By your
strength, an unstoppable determination to press forth against the trials and tribulations of his existence. You have led a life the best you could under your own limited power, persevering in spite of the many betrayals from without and within. You watch as she closes her eyes, and her expression and her brows begin to furrow a little bit. The fury within you has yet no aim, and it slowly consumes you time and time again. Your fortune is bleak and unrelenting. And after a moment, her eyes open, and she looks at you with a gentle expression. But perhaps it is time for change. You have sensed it, I am certain, that the misfortune that has plagued you since your birth is beginning to turn. and she extends a hand towards you. And in that moment, the grey forms around the world, leaving only you unchanged. If I may, you spoke of your bow. Might I see it for a moment?
Yes, very. Murgh very cautiously hands the bow over to Sinifan. For some reason, he doesn't want to let it out of his hand, but he does.
She takes the bow from your grasp, bringing it before her. It floats ahead of her, and she, after gazing upon it for a few moments, a look of sadness forms in her expression. She takes a hand forth and gently takes it along the limb of the bow. How cruel a fate. A bird born in a locked cage for which its key has been long lost with the passage of time. A failed experiment. A young consciousness born from ether lies trapped within a prison of the mind. Her creators ignorant of just what they had created before looking away her mind. If set free and allowed to flourish, in time the consciousness within this bow could grow to wield tremendous power. She looks back towards you. It is well within my ability to shatter this cage. What say you, Murgh Hawthorne? Do you believe you have what it takes to eventually will this power if I were to set her free?
Wielding it or not, if there is someone inside this bow, they deserve to have a chance at life. Nobody should spend their life under subjugation.
Then it will be done. She waves her hand.
Thank you.
And the bow floats over towards you. Nothing happens for a moment, but she then floats a bit higher again before going back down. Be sure to take good care of her. Murgh, a moment later, you hear within your mind a sleepy yawn followed by what sounds like stretching?
Aww. What? Oh.
Yeah.
Something just stopped. Where's the music? That was a bad time for the music to stop.
Yeah, that was intentional.
Oh, okay.
Might want to tune this up.
Feel like I've been sleeping for... How long did I sleep? Feels like forever. Like ever and ever, since before everything. Oh! You're the guy who picked me up, right? Who are you?
You can call me Murgh.
Nice to meet you, Murgh.
I'm not the one who helped you wake up, though.
Ah. Well, anyway, nice to meet you, Murgh.
Nice to meet you, too.
Who am I again? I can't remember if I ever was anybody, actually.
I'm not sure either.
Can you help me out? Maybe you know?
I don't.
Name her.
Sinifan, would you happen to know this young lady's name?
You watch as the goddess Skybreaker just lets out a very undignified giggle.
Oh no.
Perhaps you should name her. It appears she is without one.
Oh no. Murgh definitely didn't get up in the morning expecting this to happen. Oh shit.
I time to go on babynames.com.
What's wrong?
I'm not quite sure what to call her. Perhaps we'll figure something out. Perhaps she could figure something out for herself.
I don't know.
As time goes on.
I don't know.
Oh no.
It's, I know your name, but I don't know what my name is, and you don't know what my name is. Seems a bit wrong.
Out of character. I'm trying to think of a nice name for a bow, but I can't think of anything. I was not expecting in character and out of character. I was not expecting this. Oh no.
Let us take a short break as Murgh figures out how to name his bow. We
Murgh
continue.
is dad now.
It's a girl.
You continue.
How about Locke? You seem like a Locke.
Locke?
Sorry.
Locke? But I don't need a key.
You don't need it.
You know, kind of like it. Sounds cute. Guess I'm Locke.
Then I guess we can call you that.
Yay! That's who I'll be from now. Locke. Without the key, yeah?
Lock without a key.
Not every lock needs a
How's it
key.
spelled?
Just
With an E?
LOCKE. Yep.
Yeah. you heard Locke laugh and hum a bit.
Oh.
Before abruptly stopping.
I already love her.
She's adorable.
No!
You know what I don't like though? This. I'm ugly. And you look at her. You look at Locke, and she's the bow you were drawn to. You're not entirely certain why, but when you first laid eyes on it, something was appealing to you. Something in the wood seemed to have a particular shade of brown. And now that the novelty started to wear off, and not because the DM neglected to describe its appearance, you notice there's a couple of crossbones and skulls running along the limbs. The notches of the limb has small spikes around it and climbing up the limbs in a jagged fashion. In your opinion, this bow is freaking cool.
Oh my god, we got an edgy lolly.
Oh no, do we get to dress her up? No, she says she's ugly. She might want to be repainted.
I don't like it. Yeah, I'm gonna fix it. I've been stuck like this for a long time, and I want to be myself. Thanks for helping me find myself. Hope you like the new me. And Murgh, you watch as just suddenly, just a bright shimmer and sparkle forms right in front of you. and you instinctively shut your eyes a little bit. And after getting used to this bright light, you notice the bow begins to lengthen and curve back. And the floral design wraps itself around it. The string of the bow now seems to sparkle a bit, as if it were covered in glitter. Along its form emerge risers and stabilizers, now coated in a vibrant pink. And its newfound cams are spotted with hearts. What was once a really cool bow appears to now be a very cute bow. Aesthetics aside, you've never seen a bow of this design before. However, those from the 21st century will recognize it as a compound bow. Another thing you notice is that while it was quite heavy before, it is now surprisingly light. Also, it strangely appears to now smell faintly of apples for some reason.
This is the bow he was always meant to have.
And this is your new weapon.
Hold on. I'll send it. I'll send it.
No, I'm gonna send it here.
Yeah, but there's a thing that needs to be removed.
Murgh is kind of wild about this, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
No, I left out that other
Oh, yeah.
part.
Oh, yeah, right.
And this is what you can now put in your character sheet.
Excuse me, what?
Wait, hold on.
200, 800?
Very cute for Locke.
Uh,
Oddly pastel, oddly shaped bow, with a seemingly very idol-like entity with it.
well.
While extremely non-friendly, it sure is adorable. Attacks of this bow have an additional 1d4 radiant damage as the power of a glittering sparkle.
I'm trying to find the really cool bow in my inventory. Is it? Am I losing? Okay, so I can just replace the really cool bow wholesale, right?
While tuned to this bow, you get the following benefits.
Benefits? I love that
You can-
question mark.
You gain proficiency with bow, longbows, and whatever this bow. You gain +1 bonus on saving throw as the power of glittering sparkles helps protect you from those who would do you harm.
All saving throws?
All of them.
Holy shit. Okay,
All
so...
all persuasion and deception check are now made at advantage.
Uh-huh.
However, all intimidation check are now made at disadvantage. Because boy, it is hard to take someone seriously that threatens you while holding this overall topping bow. It's clear that no dishonest guy was ever caught dead wielding such a cute bow.
I love this.
Let me.
This
I've
is
added your
amazing.
bonuses to your sheet.
Let's see. I'm
Oh my
I'm so overwhelmed.
Unfortunately, it loses the +2 to attack and damage.
Aww.
For
Oh
now.
well. It's cute. It smells like apples. Murgh is all over this shit.
Uh-huh.
You now have an adorable, feminine, flowery pink compound bow with a glittery string.
But it's awesome!
Uh-huh.
I'm glad
Oh,
you
I
like
need to
me.
find that gif.
I guess gonna look her best, right? I feel
I
tired.
love it.
Does Murgh say that in character?
Yes.
Thank you.
You all notice Murgh just suddenly shout, "I love it!" And you see in his hand this overtly feminine, very pink, floral bow, with just adorable accents on it. And is that bowstring glittering?
No.
It's really impossible to miss. It's like some young girl had replaced Salmon's bow with her own arts and crafts bow as a prank.
Aww.
Don't bully her. She's perfect.
This is like next level Moe blob. Holy shit.
And okay, yes, Murgh.
Sorry.
Yes.
I hope you enjoy your new weapon.
It can have apple blossoms embroidered on it.
Okay. Perfect.
I love it.
Sorry. Okay, so do I add the saving throw bonuses?
I've already added it to your
Ow.
sheet. I've already added
thanks,
it.
Thanks, Rosie.
E. I'm gonna go nap. B. Wake me up if you need me, Murgh.
Absolutely. Sleep
And
well.
you all hear for the first time Salmon be called Murgh.
Oh my.
What? Wait.
Oh yeah, right.
Surprise,
Remember-
Salmon isn't his name.
Oh, yeah, right. I forgot that Salmon is technically the name we.
Ali is, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm so used to call him Murgh.
Repeats
Yeah.
the bird part.
Yeah,
in
because none of you knew that
girl's
name
voice.
previously. And you just, for a few moments, you just hear a snore slowly fade out in your mind. So, Murgh.
Nice.
I just feel that this meme even fits perfectly with Murgh because the tall, rough-looking half-orc with like the cutesy bow.
I know.
I've had Locke for 2 minutes, but if anything happened to her, I would kill everyone in this room and then myself.
I like that name. Alright.
Anyways, so Xenophon.
Now turns to look to Codex and just gives him a nod. Kenku of dutiful scribing, whose bravery to explore the unknown and catalog what mysteries might be found hidden amongst the cosmos, could not be quelled. Your exalted mastery of magic to a degree that for most wizards would require many lifetimes to achieve. For as you know, servants of your caliber are extraordinarily rare, yet despite that, and your grand achievements, you remain humble. Rather than boast of your deeds, you choose to pursue the noble goal to seek a higher understanding of the weave, as well as other unknowns hidden in this world along the way. Such a quest is worthy to be aided, though the first clue already lies within you. Codex. You take notes that all but you and the goddess before you remain frozen. As she points towards you with her hand. You, unwinged mortal, carry a unique gift that I have yet to bear witness to, one that extends beyond mere mastery of the arcane. For your intense study of divine magics did not go without fruition. It awakened a dormant potential deep within you that you had yet realized. That your sight extends beyond what lies on the surface and cannot be deceived by the divine. Nor is it easily fooled by other magical means. Should you ever get the notion that something is amiss in what you perceive, a hunch that things are not as they seem, have faith in your judgment, Codex Libram. It will carry you far, just as your courage to brave the unknown will. You now gain advantage on all wisdom and intelligence checks made expressly to deduce if what you're perceiving is an illusion. Additionally, illusions that are divine in nature or origin cannot fool your senses and are treated as if they were never there at all.
We're getting so many like really great. Wait, can you guys hear that?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's an exercise. Oh damn it!
Also, if it would please you, young bookmark, might I make a request of your scholarly talents as a scribe?
Nods.
If you would be so kind as to continue to chronicle the events of this exchange, it would be most appreciated, for there are many things that I have said which are yet unknown to the mortal realm, and others that rectify falsities and widely believed untruths. So if you would chronicle the unknowns and compare and contrast these corrections to the aforementioned falsities and untruths, you will be doing the mortal's plane higher learning a great deed. All that I ask is the exclusion of any mention of the true name of Doryorano's champion, Wandering Wind, in your writings. I am aware that what I ask of you is arduous and will require much research into the subjects mentioned. Though should you accomplish this task and see to it that this tome I grant you is delivered to a high priest or priestess in one of my churches, I shall personally see to it that you are well rewarded for your efforts. And she waves a hand as a grand tome of elaborate design appears before you. Its regal appearance alone commands attention be drawn to it. One look and it is easy to tell that the contents of this book's pages are of great importance. As I take the tome, a sizable bottle of ink appears before you as well as an ink pen of immaculate craftsmanship. I ask this of you, for your accomplishments have granted your pen much credence among scholars of the mortal realm, And should there be those who cast doubt or naysayers that attempt to undermine your efforts, reveal to them this crest. For it is divine and blessed of my very essence. It will shatter all doubt and push aside those who dare to try bar access to the information you seek for this quest.
Not yet again.
You should be aware that my name has not once been penned in any mortal tongue. All writing that exists of it is their own interpretation. This has led to some rather silly debates as to its pronunciation and ultimate meaning. This will doubtlessly make your task somewhat difficult. So, allow me to go on the record and give you my true name and how it would be translated into mortal comprehension. Let this be the first article that you pen in this tome. You watch as she waves her hand, and words manifest in the air, in front of you, the name that has been constantly printed into your psyche. Xenophon emerges once more. Then, you notice more words appear around it, some in languages you know, and others that are unfamiliar to you. However, after a few moments, above each word appears another, one in common, each signifying the language of the word below it. Based on the translations of the languages you know, you can easily tell that what the words below are is how a name will be written in that particular tongue. However, one more word appears at each, this time below the bottom word that represents her name. After you look them over for a moment, you realize that these are not words at all, but rather proper pronunciations of her name. Xenophon. Suddenly, Codex, you notice a stack of paper manifest in the goddess's hand. This is but your first step. This is but your first. Good luck.
Nods yet again.
Xenophon then strums the stack with a thumb and a playful smile as the rich sound of paper rustling rings out. She gives a wink before the papers vanish, and the world around you begins to move once more. Did you see what I posted in chat?
Yeah, but I can't hear it.
What did you post? Hang on. Wait, did you ruffle some papers? What is that?
It sounds like, yeah, ruffle of paper.
It's
when
part
you
of Codex's name.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Codex, transcribe that.
I'm glad you caught what I was doing, Yami.
I mean, I'm not that imperceptive.
No, I'm happy on
Nice.
this.
Not sure if that's the right word, but you know what I mean. Fuck it.
And as the world
Xenophon.
begins... Yes. Yee. Yee. And as the world begins to move around you once more, Xenophon looks to Jasmo. There's quite a bit of a difficult to read expression. She moves forward, Teresa trailing behind her a little bit. Xenophon raises an eyebrow. She looks her over. Human of cunning escape, who's... Xenophon cranes her neck back a bit and blinks a few times, before she beams a genuine smile. The nerve of that marriage! He dare lay a trap just for me to stumble upon within one of his followers' lines. I see my old friend is audacious as ever. Though I shall follow his request, that sly, frothing breeze. Jasmine, for her part, tilts her head with a confused expression. Do you mean to say that you actually know? And as soon as Jasmine stops speaking, though you watch, she is no longer standing, but half sitting on her knees upon the ground. Her expression frozen in apparent shock. Roll perception, all of you.
I'm guessing Cinnapon just did the same thing she did to us.
Yep. Okay.
Could... Come on.
Can't do anything about the dice rolls.
Alright, let's see. Alright, alright.
Good thing it was not a battle session.
Fives and Yami, roll again. This is pathetic. Yeah, mercy.
DM's mercy.
You guys keep rolling back.
Okay.
That's another 2.
Okay.
Are you
I
okay?
suppose.
Would you like to try my luck
No.
again?
I
Okay.
am face palming so
I
hard
can.
right now.
Okay, I suppose. In this moment, Bahsk, you're too wrapped up in your emotions at present due to what you just learned, due to what just happened to you. And Codex his mind is reeling with possibilities and whatnot. However, Morzavur and Murgh, the both of you, what you see on Jasmine's face is unusual. You've seen different faces on this woman, and in a short time you've known her, she seemed like a guarded individual, aside from your earlier chat where she seemed a bit looser. Regardless, she's always seemed like a rather surly and frank individual in terms of her demeanor. Instead, what you see is the most non-surly emotion you had seen in her expression up to this point. And you get the impression something has left her very rattled. Both of you roll perception one more time.
Alright.
Alright, here goes nothing.
Just took me rolling.
Them too? Okay.
Just the two of you.
Unfortunately, just the two of them.
Oh,
Right.
never mind.
Bruh.
Misheard that. Of course, I mishear it, and well, I found then of course.
May I use Lucky to re-roll that? Or...
Yes, you may. That is how
Yes.
that is how it works.
Okay, I will do that. Okay, that's a bit better.
I'd rather be like, hey, I gave you all
Alright.
those good rolls
Alright.
until now. What if I give you some bad ones?
Alright. With a 15, I want to say, you take a look over Jasmine, and her face is hidden under her hair. Her bandana's a little bit looser and hides it. And you can swear that you see her shoulders moving a little bit. Erratically.
Oh, she's crying.
I do know, yes. Cinnafon turns towards Teresa. Apparently that old windbag does not wish for me to speak openly of you, either. Her face scrunches up. He's no fun. Teresa's eyes widens this. Huh? Oak? And she's also frozen in place at this point.
Oh god.
But it takes you a moment to realize time's still resuming. She's just also shocked. Alright.
Wondering when kind of pushes off and walks over. Xenophon looks up to it. It's about time you take more involvement with the mortal realm. I'm sure your sister would be very pleased. However, his face gets a serious expression. Are you not forgetting something?
Of course not. Merely saving it for the appropriate time.
Perhaps you should tell them why you give this knowledge.
Yes. The knowledge that I
Ready
have.
to the book again. The document, the book again.
Okay, alrighty. As you do that, I grant each of you this knowledge freely, as it remains within the purview of what I can do. For it is one thing to directly intervene in the affairs of mortals and force change, but another matter entirely to merely undo the latches on doors to grant willing mortals entry, should they so choose to make the conscious decision to see what lies on the other side by virtue of their own free will. I do so because it piques my curiosity to see just what you mortals will do with this knowledge that I bestow upon you. All I ask of you in exchange is that you make no mentions to other mortals of the true nature of my wind. And suddenly you will notice that a pair of spectacles have appeared on her face, and some sort of spectral parchment manifests in her hands, which she proceeds to read from.
Alright.
However, what did you say? What did you say? What?
A pair of reading glasses apparently forms on her face, and
Oh.
parchment appears, and she actually roll inside.
Hold on.
However,
All of
with
you.
my requesting
Yeah, all
that
of you roll inside.
I am now obligated under oath as a seat of the Sea Pantheon to inform you as per the agreement between the two Pantheons that should you somehow manage to cross paths with another agent of the Sea Pantheon, it is up to you how you wish to interact with them, however you will. I am also now obligated under oath as a seat of the Sea Pantheon to inform you as per an agreement between the Pantheons that as a seat of the Sea Pantheon, it is not my place to influence your decisions, not interfere with said indecision should you encounter an agent of the Land Pantheon and wish to interact with them. For my doing so will be a direct intervention in your affairs and a breach of the terms of agreement between the two Pantheons. Both disappear. This
And you all can tell
Yeah.
that she has the most bored, begrudging look on her face. Like she just doesn't want to do this, but just knows she has to.
What'd you roll?
Wandering Wind then looks to you. So in short, with her making that request of you in particular, in regards to a champion, we can no longer act directly against you. So effectively our arms are tied regardless of what you decide to do. He folds his arms, just kind of frown. If you ask me, frankly, it's a bit risky to give you all this freedom, but as they say, rules are rules.
She turns towards you, Murgh. You have not yet read them, however. Would you like to see them?
He didn't actually say that. He didn't actually say that.
Yeah, I guess
He's thinking about
May
it.
I?
He's not sure why, but he just really wants to say that.
Okay.
Lady Sina.
Yeah, sorry.
This is an esteemed honor, but may I see those rules and regulations?
Wandering Wind
so-
just slowly looks at you. Are you sure?
Yes.
that sounds dangerous. So for some reason,
Wandering
now-
Wind just shrugged. If you say so.
I guess the only dangerous.
Why would?
You watch as that same spectral document appears in front of you, and you start to read. And as soon as you begin, I need to make a sanity saving throw with disadvantage.
There we go. I didn't know if that was like. Alright. It's like it's either a sanity save or I get the document for me.
The document is just too boring. You have to go and keep your sanity.
You know what? I'm using a point of inspiration to nullify that disadvantage.
Oh wait, am I
What
supposed
did
to
I
roll
get?
something?
No, I'm
If
fucking not a
Murgh
sanity
wants to
save.
take a look, roll a sanity save with disadvantage.
No. Okay, but I kind of want to because it's funny.
Okay.
Well,
Wow.
first of all, what happens is
At this point,
I'm gonna kill
okay,
this thing.
sorry,
on.
but it just makes me
Lie.
think that like Wondering Way is just looking at Bahsk and be like, not again.
Hold on, killing this thing. Killing it.
He just has a
Die.
bemused expression.
It's like, why does this Dragonborn do this?
The stove burned it twice, man. You really gonna touch it a third time?
I think he already
Actually,
does.
But if I
already
don't
touched
touch it a third time, how will I know if it'll burn me consistently?
Hey,
think you already
it's
touched it.
deity's data. Of course I'm going to.
Sorry, I was killing a fly that was
Arsaciolo.
So, Bahsk,
gone.
What's up?
as you look at the text, you can't even read this. It all blurs together, and you feel your eyes just glaze over, as it almost feels like it's just assaults your mind.
And the parchment appears to extend. It wasn't this wide. It wasn't that big, but quickly it just expands in every direction. And you find yourself just staggering back a little bit.
And then, as you realize, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You just feel a ping in your mind, and you're forced to look away. You take 13 psychic damage. Wandering Wind just shrugs. Don't say I didn't warn you.
I think he's actually down.
You are
Yeah.
so
No, I'm
amazing.
not down yet. I have 5 HP.
Oh yeah, right. 13, not 30. Okay, yeah.
You are most
Offhand, it's like
amusing.
staggers behind boss.
However, perhaps you ought to exercise some care.
Yeah, Murgh's not
Yes.
having anything to do with this.
Curiosity
You're
killed
like-
Bahsk.
Boss just keeps passing out.
Boundless
Could be an
curiosity indeed.
I'm very much glad the thing I did in random dice rolls was more for fun than anything and not actually serious.
No, Ted.
Bahsk, you're not a Bahsk, you're not a tabaxi.
And with that, Wandering Wind takes his halberd and extends it out towards Xenophon. Well now, with all that said and done, our duty now takes us up north, past the betrayal. So I suppose it'll be quite unlikely our paths cross anytime soon, or for a great deal of time. But if fate so wills it, we'll be undoubtedly meet you again.
It would certainly be your lucky day, should our paths cross once more. Perhaps.
I've accepted the offer from earlier.
And should that time come, perhaps let us know we thought of her proposal. As mentioned though, it would then make you duty-bound to assist the Pantheon of the Sea, which is why we say to give you some time to mull it over. It's a very serious decision.
Our fealty would become entrenched in the depths of the sea pantheon, would it not?
Yes, a bias of fate would be written on your pages, or your lines on the pages. But
I get the
anyways,
feeling that we're about. Whoops, sorry.
Xenophon begins to glow yet once more, and a shimmering aura forms around her. I await to see the lines you pen, and her form begins to scatter away into streams of light that then trail into the halberd. And as quickly as she appeared, Xenophon, the Skybreaker, is gone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wanderwind stows his polearm on his back and looks you all over. Be grateful, mortals. You had a high honor. Do not disappoint her. And with that, Wandering Wind just turns away and begins to leave.
Yeah, I imagine he saw the already decided look on Codex's face about this offer.
And as he goes and opens the door, he pauses for a moment before leaving the sanctum. Oh, one more thing. That Mr. Dependable fellow, he doesn't know. And then he leaves the room.
And you watch as the shadows, shadows that were swerving around each surface, begins to dissipate, returning the state of room to where they once were. You got that covered, man?
Yeah, but stand by for technical difficulties, because this
Okay.
is not going to want a copyright.
The cat box. So. Frog.
Oh, do you not like my hold music?
Why'd you leave the room into the void? Oh, okay, that was fun doing things. Never mind, unless it's to that.
Oh, I need them out of the way.
You just flat out deleted me instead of moving me out of the way.
The good thing is I have your token over here that I can do. Fucking don't open Chrome hell, please.
Murgh, we're just having a little bit of astral projection over here. Nobody panic. This happens sometimes.
Alrighty. Well, that was a trip. Yeah,
You said that in the
So-
Teresa voice, so it's canon now.
that is Teresa, yes.
Oh, excellent. I thought I got Rosie. Damn
Nope.
it.
That was indeed Teresa. That was indeed Teresa as Jasmine
get you
has gotten
someday.
to Jasmine has by now gotten to her feet.
Am I still here? Everything's
Yes, you
quiet.
are here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am looking for something.
Yeah.
This was one hell of a session, and it's not even over yet.
Uh-huh.
I think it might be over soon. I'm
Do you got-
I'm getting
yeah.
distinct intermission time vibes.
True.
Yeah.
It's like you guys said like 2 sessions ago. It's like, nah, it's not gonna be that bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
I am
hell.
thinking I need to get a hold of the spell Creator Destroy Water to use that as a sort of whiteout.
I need to get hold of the sending spell like ASAP.
By the way, should I add the book and ingot in my bag inventory?
Yes. Yes. Do that.
Okay, so
At least,
if
at least I assume
Brian-
Creator Destroy Water would work as a form of whiteout.
A form of what?
Ethereum.
Whiteout?
Okay, what's the book called?
Title it. Token of Divine Will for the time being.
Okay. Does it have any weight?
It is very light. I'll say it's 0.5.
Okay, and for the ingot?
The ingot would be. You have to ask the geologists in this call, because I don't know.
It would be probably a good 5-6 pounds, because that is dense.
Okay, so I put 5 or 6.
Let's say 6.
That's one heavy ingot, but I mean,
Yeah, Morzavur would be like, damn, this is heavy.
Worcestershire.
We're sure.
Worcestershire.
We're sure.
Worcestershire.
Uh-huh.
Ah.
Where's your her?
Where?
So now, with having that all happened, you're now left alone, mulling over what happened. What do you all do?
Firstly,
It's time for Murgh to get crunked.
Bahsk walks over to Morzavur. Kind of with dry tear stains going down like past both sides of his snout, and goes, Morzavur, mind shaking my hand?
Mola just sees Bahsk and does as he requests as he grabs his hand quite lightly because he's kind of used to like Bahsk being somewhat, of weak constitution.
And Bahsk squeezes as hard as he can.
Morzavur, make an athletics check.
Oh, what?
An athletics check.
Athletics? Hold on. Strength 4. This is gonna hurt. 1d20 plus 4.
And Bahsk, roll an athletics check.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah. The thing is, my athletics is still lower than you.
But yeah, Morzavur was really not expecting that.
That's a
Roll again. Roll this with advantage.
Oh yeah, I did that in the music thing. Oh
Good job.
wait, let me just screenshot it.
Actually,
you're
no.
kind of taken aback at Locke's sudden strength. It almost catches you off guard, but you manage to brace yourself just in time. And you're just like, damn. Locke's
Yeah.
strong now.
Yeah, Morzavur can just once they've finished the handshaking thing, he can just shake his hand a bit, kind of when you're hurt, it's slightly hurt after your handshake, and you're looking somewhat impressed.
Did that hurt?
Only slightly. Don't worry about it.
Morzavur,
I wasn't expecting it.
roll perception.
There is a very dumbfounded dragonborn in front of you right now.
Yeah, he's like, hold on, since when were you that strong? So perception, so that's +5.
Not open for hugs.
Hey,
Morzavur, well, boss just kind of, squished your hands a bit and you able to recognize. You see off in the distance, Jasmine pouring several drinks. In fact, that is way more than how many people are in this room.
oh?
Yeah, all of us are from Murgh.
Yeah, underage. Underage bow.
Jasmine.
I never expected to hear you ever say the sentence.
Underage bow.
Oh no. We made a mistake.
She's just Jasmal's just pouring herself a little bit of this, a little bit of that, blending a couple of different wines into a glass,
What kind of mood is she in?
filling it. We'll roll insight. Filling it
Roll insight.
filling it until it's almost gone over the edge of the glass.
You notice you've slid several glasses along the counter to where your seats were, and there's quite a bit. Like 4 to 5 different drinks in front of each of your seats.
That's a lot.
And there's the
Which
one that's
one's your-
almost entirely full and just practically throws it into her mouth.
Codex, you can't really get a read on her right now. She looks, pretty neutral, really. Morzavur, on the other hand,
Is Morzavur gonna just stand there?
Wait, I'm
you
not
see that
looking
she
at-
looks a little shaken. In fact, you see she's almost a little shaky as she's pouring the drinks. And she has a really kind of somber look on her face, as if something's really bothering her.
Okay, I'm guessing Xenophon just gave her like a really sinister truth.
Xenophon just read her for filth. Just completely.
Teresa
Xenophon
speaks.
spilled the tea.
Teresa
Let's-
speaks up. Speaks up. That took a turn. Wasn't exactly what I expected when I took this assignment.
Oh yeah, I guess she did just see a god.
Met a god.
Tell me
Right.
about it.
But
I
anyway,
Thank you for this music choice.
now that all of that is done with,
done. What
Well-
are you on about?
well,
We just
I-
started our mission, did we not?
I
It's only just started.
I assumed that you were told different things too. I don't exactly know what, but
Yeah.
the point is, how does this change? And Asmo speaks up at the same time. Our earlier conversation, if anybody still remembers it.
I don't think
What-
anyone remembers it at this point, in character or out of character.
Well,
I do for the most part.
I forgot
What do you
OLS
guys-
has a photographic memory.
What do you guys want to
Nah.
do?
Oh,
What do
wait,
you
wait,
guys-
wait.
Takes.
Just
Yeah.
to remind everyone, Codex is gonna just relay the earlier conversation in
'Cause
one of
Kenku.
the appropriate voices.
Yep.
So after, as a few minutes go by, Codex effectively, verbatim, and quite impressively relays the previous conversation in regards to the rune offer that she had.
I suppose this
Thanks, the bird.
little very Kenku are really fascinating, are they not?
Codex just nods, just
Yep.
double checking his fucking notes.
And they all do that.
I believe so.
Huh.
I'm
Yes,
my own
they have
boss.
no-
Sorry, continue, Fibes.
As they do not have their own voice. They must speak. That does not devalue them in the least, however. But as for the previous conversation, once all of us have, well, recovered, what does this make of us?
Recovered?
All six,
Who needs
Except you.
recovering? I'm my own boss. I'm not paid enough for this.
well, look at you, Miss Barkeep. Despite looking so chipper, your mental side does not appear to be quite as refreshed.
And
Why
Bahsk
don't you
takes the
shut your
glass
trap, spellboy?
and raises it up and kind of like to a half-assed cheers.
But we can continue the discussion tomorrow. Right, Morzavur, Teresa, Murgh,
Sure.
Codex, and barmaid.
And he takes a drink.
We know her name.
Yep.
I think we could all get a drink right now.
And as you, all of you,
Hey,
Yeah.
she calls me spellboy. I call her barmaid.
Oh yeah, I guess that's fair.
Touche.
and as you, all of you, the night is, as all of you enjoy this night, finally taking the moment after this surprising, challenging, and at times arduous evening, this long evening, getting drunk and just drowning yourself a little bit in the alcohol. The night comes to a close. I imagine all of you find yourselves in your respective rooms. After clearing, I imagine Codex clears up with Jasmine. Would you
Yeah,
like to
but-
stay, actually? You have options.
Right now, Codex is just more interested with his so far just been focused on double checking his fucking notes to make sure everything's correct and as it should be.
Fair enough. Alright. Fair enough. And you all find restful sleep. And then, enjoying your long rests. And I think that this may be a good point to stop the session.
Yeah, that's
We'll
my
pick up
brain
next
is
week.
sparking now. I had to name a bow, and by I mean I think it was OLS who came up with Locke. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, it was me.
Fucking Pogger's call there.
And so, after a long day,
I mean, you're the
Of
one who
having-
called us lockpick.
hunted bugbears, hunted gnolls, delved into mine, fought a mutation, met a world-class gnoll chef, came outside, fought bugbears for real, many of them, and then all you get back, you just want to go to bed. But your day was not over yet. Jasmine, the barmaid,
Okay. Fair enough.
somewhat just drags you down to the basement and has a little talk with you before sending her goons on you, who you kind of proceed to beat up pretty hard before Bahsk manages to convince her to have a talk, which you actually made a lot of progress in learning that she has work for you that you might be interested in. Though before you could talk much more, Theresa barges in, panicked, and lo and behold, right behind her is Wandering Wind. You all fight, thankfully, with some benefits from being refreshed. And lo and behold, you meet a god who proceeds to tell you the story of the world, effectively, and many other little secrets and details. And then, individually, tells you more about a path that you can choose. And each of you receive a blessing. And then, finally, the long, long day is over. And that is where we end the session.